welcome all to yet another episode of the talk show. Today we have a very special guest. By heart, she's a tourism professional, and by profession or by work, she's a hardcore administrator. She is welcome to Miss Shilpa Borkar, Assistant Director, GICED, Mumbai University, Kalina Campus. Hi Shilpa, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Sarjan?
I'm doing good. Shilpa, today we'll be focusing on your as an academician, on that part of the profile. We'll not speak much about tourism, but we'll talk about academics and tourism in that way. So let's get on to business. The first question, of course, is year after year, all the courses in tourism, especially the bachelor's in travel, master's in travel, and the diploma in travel, the applications are increasing year after year. How have you achieved this as such? How has it been achievable? What's the secret?
Thank you for the question. So the secret is the institution and of course the team. So thank you for the introduction where you said that I'm a hardcore administrator. So for me, whenever I am delivering my responsibilities and duties, for me the institution comes at the top. And I always say that we all are dispensable, we all will be replaced, but the institution cannot be replaced. And therefore, the contribution that we make to the institution is very important, and it's a team effort. Once again, there's another thing that I always keep on saying to everybody, that an organization doesn't run with 1 people or 4 people or 10 people. It runs with 40 of them or 400 of them or 4,000 of them. So it's about everybody walking in the same direction and everybody having the common passion of, excelling and being the best. So Garware Institute has been very, very lucky to have an extremely passionate and dedicated team, especially towards the tourism program.
Okay. So we talk about the tourism program and we talk about its achievements. So how is that you keep in touch with the changes in the industry, and how do you adapt to what's happening in the course inside the institute? How do you get that link?
So if I can just briefly also add something before I answer this particular question. So in Mumbai or in Maharashtra, Garware Institute is one of the prominent institutions for tourism training. And if you go to see, like the other metropolitan cities, Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Mumbai is a very, very important point for the tourism industry because the headquarters of many, many MNCs are in Mumbai. So in that sense, we really created a space for ourselves where no other really strong player came in. So I'm sure everybody or some of us are aware that we have an IITTM, which is a central government's tourism training institution. It has its institutes in Gwalior, Bhubaneswar, Goa, but it does not really have a presence in Mumbai. Plus, we also have many universities also who conduct programs. But in Mumbai, we have since the last 3 to 5 years, I think, Amity University at Panvel has a tourism program, but it has still not been able to match up to the kind of work that we do. Now, the question that you asked is that, so both are kind of connected, like year after year, how do we manage to get the numbers and what do we do to stay connected with the present and the future? So we have industry experts. And the teachers who come in to teach are experts in their respective fields. So they have knowledge and know-how of what's happening. Of course, because most of the multinationals have their headquarters in Mumbai, the industry has been extremely supportive. They have always told us that what is the expectation of the industry from these young professionals. They look at us as one of their serious partners to provide them skilled people in the industry. And for the last 2 decades, or at least I think 15 years or 12 years, we have been very, very sincerely and committedly doing campus placements. and for our campus placements, and now that's kind of a fixed date in the calendars of the travel organizations also, which is the third week of January, the Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm very happy and proud to say that right from the month of September and October, we start getting calls from the organizations saying that we are going to be part of the placements, make sure that our slot is there on day one. So when the industry has that kind of connect, the industry also keeps on telling us that you need to do this, you need to do this. Uh, One very small example, very, very cliched, I know I'm going to sound, but the students have this huge phobia, or the young professionals have this huge phobia against sales. And everybody wants to do operations, or not even documentation. Everybody wants to do operations or be tour managers because that's glamorous. But you won't have any of this. Like in this COVID-19 situation, we are seeing it, that if there is no business, there's no operations and there is no group to lead. So very important is business development and doing sales. So we've got repeated for 3 years, 2 years, 4 years. We had got repeated feedback saying that your children are very, very fixed and they want to do only operations. You should go them to do sales. And slowly, slowly, we took that a conscious decision. And today, we have our students doing sales, and that too my sales, not even a leisure sales. Leisure sales is a one-to-one student, one-to-one guest. So a family comes, asks you, where can I go for summer? You give them a Europe, that's done. But a my sale is for 250 people doing a Europe. Imagine the volume. And they're doing that successfully, doing business, doing sales. So this industry kind of kept on telling us also that this is something that you can improve, this is something that you can improve, which we did. There was another part which we repeatedly kept on getting from the industry, and of course, and there is another one which is very popular, is product development. So everybody thinks that I will do product development, but the company is saying that he can't do product development unless he actually knows what's happening on the field. So he has to do sales for some time before he knows how to create a product, because he will know what the guest want and what the destination has. There was another feedback that we used to come is people want to do operations, but they don't know what is contracting and negotiations. Now, contracting and negotiations is very important part of the travel industry, because our suppliers have to be solid. Only then our product is going to be, the delivery is going to be good. So that is again that we took note of, and then we introduced those courses, or we introduced those papers in our whole programs, and that's how we keep making changes. And
very interesting. So it is, in a nutshell, we have created, Garhwal has created a culture where people know when is a placement and when they can approach Garhwal, and which are 3 days that is going. So that's the way it works now. All right. Going forward, what is the criteria for admissions for undergraduates and postgraduates into including the diploma and tour management?
Okay. So we at the moment conduct 3 programs, and which are like Sarjan, you rightly said, one program is a 1-year diploma in tour management, which is a full-time diploma. We have a 3 years bachelor's program in tourism and travel management, and then we have a 2 years master's. Now the eligibility criteria is graduates for the master's program. You need to have the aptitude and the passion. So which background or which faculty you come from is not really that we assess, or we're not looking at if you're a history graduate or you have a geography graduate or you have done something that would help you connect or understand something from the tourism industry. Not really. You need to be passionate. You need to be very, very hardworking, because that is one, how do I say that there's something that we crack in the first 8 days. That is one bubble that we all at Garhwal are happy to burst in the first 8 days when the child comes, that this is going to be easy and this is going to be fun. So we let them know that there's nothing like taking it easy and only fun in this. There is a lot of hard work. You will enjoy only if you put yourself 100%. Then we have interviews. So especially in the interviews, We test that the written test is testing their general knowledge, English, and the usual
Absolutely.
stuff.
Yeah.
And in the interviews, of course, the one-on-one is to check that how sincere you are, how passionate you are, how much do you mean what you say, do your words and your actions match. So now people who are going to watch this interview, they're going to wonder that how can they make it out in the first 5-7 minutes that they meet us. But trust me, we do make out your intentions, and we do make out whether your words and your actions match. And I and Sarjan have been privy to some of very exciting answers on the interview panel. So then there is interview, and then your merit list is displayed, and that's how we admit you. Yeah.
Of course, uh, one question comes up when you are sitting as an administrator and you're dealing with the young crowd. What is the biggest challenge in terms of behavior with students? Is concerned? How do you gauge, and what are the challenges you face as an official?
So what I feel is like what today it talks about is that it is very important to unlearn and then learn. So they
Hmm.
have learned so much, or they have some kind of uh, frame of mind when they come. Either they have come after their 12th, they have certain expectations that what's going to be the senior college like, or when they have spent 5 years college and then they come to a master's program, they have that we are young adults and this is the way that we should be treated. So first of all, or this is, we never sat in a class. If we came 10 minutes late, we were not kept out of the class for 4 hours. This are things they have learned because 5 years they lived that. And then suddenly when they come here, and like I said, the first 10 days only we are very happy to burst that bubble. In the first week of their time on the campus, if all this thing starts to happen to them, they are kind of in a shock because they don't expect. So there are a lot of, not academically, I would say more of habits they have to unlearn, and then they have to get into the mode of learn. Um, because we're predominantly talking about tourism, and I have, like you and I, we have Sergeant been in tourism industry for the last 26, 27 years now. So initially, even when we were young and we were doing this, very commonly, it was a very common thing, and I think it may be there today also. What you do is not important. Acha, you are in tourism industry. Huh? What you do is not important. So that is something that the students also think. What we do is not important. But that's not true. I mean, we are in service industry, and 100%, nothing less than 100% works. So as I gave you an example here, that somebody comes late for a class 10 minutes or 15 minutes, but he's made to sit out of the class for the next 4 hours because the next session is going to start at 1:30. He is upset. He's like, there's no value for my time. Precisely, value for time. Because if you were late with a group 15 minutes at the check-in counter and the chair boarding had closed, you don't know the costs that you are going to add to the organization. That 15 minutes are extremely crucial. You cannot think that what I do is not important because everybody else thinks. Unless you perform 100% service, your client is not, or your guest is not going to have a good holiday. I mean, there have been cases where the connection was that you were on an island and you had to take a ferry. And then after you got off to that jetty, there was a bus that was going to take you to the airport and you were flying back to India. You miss the ferry. That ferry comes after every 1 hour. You miss that ferry by 10 minutes. That
Right,
ferry
right.
left, you took the next ferry. By the time you came to the airport, you were late, your flight was closed, you had new tickets had to be done. Trust me, what you do is equally important. It's not like only the doctors are doing what they do is important, or a lawyer, what he does is important. No, I would say they still have a second chance because you go for a second opinion. But with us, you miss that ferry, you miss that ferry. So you have to deliver at 100% every time. And that's what we try to inculcate in the kids. We make them understand, help them understand
So as you were saying, you're right. That's the idea of this talk show also. I get a lot of ex-students of Garware and tell them what is required in the industry. So it gets from the horse's mouth. And as I'm also faculty at Garware, I should say that attendance matters. So what the viewers are watching it, we are very particular about attendance, and 75% to 80% attendance is very much a need, because that's what inculcates discipline. Shilpa will carry forward. We'll go on to the next session of the interview, and that is career guidance and counseling. And since you have long experience in education itself, I would like to know, if I'm a youngster and I want to join the industry, the education industry. Uh, what are the criteria? How do I go about having a stepping stone towards teaching and carrying on with this area of work is concerned?
So, like I said, in Maharashtra, not really, tourism training is not really part of the mainstream, and
Means
therefore it is part of commerce industry, like the commerce faculty. So in commerce faculty, there is trade and transport, under which they consider tourism. So if you are a BCom or an MCom graduate, you can do your net set. Nationally, there is net available for tourism. So if you have done bachelor's tourism, you have done master's tourism, like I said, Pondicherry University has it, IITTM has it, you can pursue your net and then look for job opportunities. But I mean teaching opportunities. And there are many today who do teaching in colleges. They have that this as an BVOC program, so there are ample opportunities. But if you would ask me honestly, tourism, that's also one of the tricks, like, which you usually do not share. So a good cook usually does not share that one small ingredient which makes all the difference to that particular dish, because you will always say, I also did it the way, just the way you told me, but it doesn't turn out like you, because that person leaves out that one small tiny thing. So for Garware, that one small tiny thing is that we have never fallen prey to take hardcore academicians to teach. Okay, nothing against it. I mean, great idea. Now, as you know, we struggle to be academicians, but we are more industry people. We have always tried to stay industry oriented. So it is skill program. It's education, yes, knowledge wise also, but more it is about skills, and the skills that the industry expects, only the industry can inculcate in you. So we are looking for faculty members who have some kind of touch with industry. It's not like that pure academicians, you did your BCom, you did your MCom, you did your NetSet, and now you come and teach. It's not possible. You need to spend time in the industry. You need to understand, because as I said, tourism is service industry, and what your guest wants is the most important thing. The customer is always right. He is the king. If he says west is east, west is east, you do not argue. Now that doesn't come from an academician, because the academician goes by the book, and he will be like, this chapter, this is what is said, these are the principles. But if you don't know application of those principles and where you're taking them and how you're doing it, will not make sense. So like marketing mix, there are 4 P's. If you will commonly search, no, you will see that the marketing mix, even Google search you right now also, you will see marketing mix 4 P's come up. But for service, there are 7 P's. There is another additional P of packaging, which is the 8th P. So when we talk to our kids about marketing and marketing mix, we don't talk about the 4 P's, but we talk to them about the 8 P's, because it's most essential. So the academician would be referring to a quote law and looking at what that has, and he would be following something which is universal and typically applied. But we don't need that. We need something that is applied for our industry specific. So yeah, you can industry experience, communication skills, passion to teach, and of course, as an academician, if you have got your net set, you are doing your PhD, pursuing your PhD, that's how you become somebody as an academician in tourism industry.
So you would say that if you're focused on academician as academician, then the PhD is doing is sensible when you are working itself.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Because
All right,
now
last question. Yeah, sorry.
because now the central government has also introduced the scheme of BWalk, MWalk, which takes you to a research and a PhD. So PhD in
Acha.
skilling, yes. So PhD in skilling is also something that the government is now looking at. So you can also consider doing your PhDs.
Okay, last question, Shilpa, is that um, would you actually recommend anybody to take up this profession? Is it viable? Is it economically that good? Is it how is it in teaching? Is it easy to get going in life? What is your opinion? How do you look at it?
So I am going to quote my colleague and dear friend Nawaz Karanjia, who
Uh-huh.
just retired this year. I'm going to quote her. So very rightly, she said that we did not join teaching to make money. We earned money. So when any one of us, yourself, myself, Nawaz, we have somebody again very, very senior, Anita Chandrasekhar, when we joined here, we didn't come here because we were going to make a living out of this. Okay. While I say this, let me assure you, you can make a living out of this. However, you come here because you want to teach. I what would you do if you were working in the industry? The kind of packages you would get, the kind of perks you would get, they don't match. Okay. We get a lot of love and blessings and acknowledgement and gratitude from our students. That I will not tell you. And I mean, I'm sure your guests also tell you how good they feel when they have a good holiday. But we meet so many, we spend time with so many young people, and they always are grateful of what we do for them. It will help you to have a family. It will help you to look after yourself, but not right from day one. Okay, so
We're
just
running out of time, Shilpa, actually, because we may get disconnected very soon.
okay.
So I'll end it here. I also want to ask you one more question, but I'll keep it to myself now. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining in. We may invite you again for a webinar where you'll have direct interaction with people who would like to speak to you directly. I hope you can make it at then. Uh, last question. Last, I can't hold myself. Last question. What is personally I want to know? What do you like more, teaching or administration?
So my heart is in teaching and my head is in administration. So, so, uh, so when I moved from teaching to administration, I was lucky that Bapsi Karani, our coordinator for the undergraduate diploma program, she let me go to the class at least once a week. But now I look at the bigger vision and I look at the bigger canvas. So I tell myself that what I'm doing now as an administrator helps me to reach out to many more students than I was doing when I was going in the class. But trust me, my heart is in the class. I love to go to the class. And once again, I'm going to say I'm grateful and I'm thankful for few of colleagues like you and Anita who let me go to the class once in a while and talk to the kids. And it really feels good. Like till about 2012, when I was not an administrator. I have always said that they keep you young because the kind of energy that they bring in the class is amazing. And the kind of, the way they are, the kind of energy that they bring, they're so positive. They're happy to be with you. They support you. You cannot think about the way they love you and support you. So yes, I anytime would like to go. Maybe last couple of years of my work profession, I'll go back to teaching and then I retire. I think that's a nice idea. Thank you. Okay.
Right. So, audience, here it was Ms. Shilpa Borkar with over 25 years of experience. We today spoke about tourism and academics. That was the focus point today. So, anybody who was interested in knowing about more about it, or you can investigate on the same lines, you can have a look at the video, and she has told you the guidelines how you can go to become an academician. Thank you so much, Shilpa, and hope we can meet again on air. Thank you so
All
much.
right,
Bye-bye.
Rajan? Yes, bye.